This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 13th day of September in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. With the country facing a growing shortage in skilled and semi-skilled workers, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry believes the government needs to put the requisite systems in place to allow for the large-scale importation of workers to address the shortage. In an interview with News Source, the president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, Kester Hudson, said the construction, agriculture, gold mining, and tourism industries are among traditional sectors that are being hard hit by the labor shortage. He linked the shortage to the country's rapidly growing oil and gas sector and explained that many skilled and semi-skilled workers are leaving the traditional sectors to take up jobs in oil and gas.
The oil and gas sector, with the advent of the oil and gas sector, they've certainly consumed quite a bit of our human resource from the traditional sectors. And so we are aggressively working with the government to formulate a strategy of how we can address this in the very short term, because it's affecting the overall development of businesses and on a wider scope, the country at large. Right, in economic growth.
In a 2020 report, the International Organization for Migration said Guyana needed at least 100,000 workers to realize its full growth potential. The Chamber of Commerce estimates that the country currently needs close to 200,000 workers to meet the demand for labor across the sectors. The GCCI president said the shortage does not augur well for the country's economic growth and development, particularly in traditional sectors. The government, through the Diaspora Unit at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has been working with a wide cross-section of stakeholders to assess the labor market with the aim of addressing its needs and challenges. The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce is among the stakeholders, and according to its president, the importation of labor is among short-term solutions being considered.
So one of which will be importation of labor, which we consider as a lower hanging fruit, and I understand the challenges that comes with that. One of which is human trafficking and all the other negative impacts. But I know the government has to put systems in place, and we encourage them to see this as an urgent issue to address.
Hudson estimates that a significant percentage of the 200,000 workers needed would have to be imported. He said it is important for the government to fast-track the process of putting the requisite systems in place to facilitate the large-scale importation of labor. However, he said it must be strategic.
The Chamber has always taken a position of having this addressed a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's getting worse as time progresses. Collaboratively with the private sector, we can certainly establish a strategy with the government to bring this, narrow this gap and ensure our productivity increases.
In addition to the importation of labor, focus is also being placed on training to upskill Guyanese workers. But even as the country battles that shortage of labor, the Chamber of Commerce president said the chamber remains concerned that many locals in various sectors are currently being underpaid. He said the Chamber of Commerce has raised the issue with the Ministry of Labor, and together they have developed a protocol to resolve the problem.
I know some level of monitoring and reports is currently happening. And we encourage employers to respect the fact that locals are doing their part and they should be treated equally as expats. And we're not budging from that. It's a matter of respect.
The Guyana government has indicated that as it continues to push its development program, outside labor help will be needed. Already, some companies in the construction sector have imported specific categories of skilled labor. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord! I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Having your own car means peace of mind.
Having your own car means comfort and convenience.
Having your own car means freedom to get there on your own time.
It's Deal on Wheels at Republic Bank. It's time to get that new vehicle or upgrade to a better one with Republic. Super low rates and low down payment. Up to 8 years to repay and great prizes. Come in to Republic Bank today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 2260-415-7. Comfortable parking available.
In the oil and gas sector, the government of Guyana is satisfied with the response it has received for the recent public auction of 14 oil blocks, according to President Finale. The government has received bids for 8 of the 14 oil blocks that were up for public auction. Groups formed by ExxonMobil and Total Energies, Exxon, Hess Corporation and China's Sinuk, as well as Total Energies, Qatar Energy and Malaysia's Petronas are among the bidders. One local group, CISPRO, submitted an interest. President Ali, who is currently on a 3-day visit to Washington, was asked at the forum whether the government is satisfied with the response to the auction. He said the government went out to a public auction at a time when major economies in the world are refusing to finance oil producers. The president also explained that the government went to a market where capital and raising capital were an issue.
We went to this market with 14 blocks and we got response for 8 blocks. We are very happy. We got response for 8 of the 14 blocks we went out for. And that is significant. That is not that cannot be minimized in any way, shape, or form, because there are many countries that went out and got no attraction.
In addition, President Ali said countries such as India, Qatar, and the Dominican Republic have expressed their intention to have a government-to-government relationship in relation to the oil blocks. He said those proposals will still be considered.
But what we said is that, first of all, we must put all the blocks out there and have a public process, open, transparent, public process. And that is what we are proud of, that we have been able, as a newcomer in this business, to demonstrate great transparency and openness in putting out the blocks for a public auction.
Guyana has already released its revised fiscal terms for any new agreements signed with the oil companies looking to explore oil offshore. It will feature a 10% royalty rate, and the 75% cost recovery ceiling has been lowered to 65%. The sharing of profits after cost recovery will remain at 50-50 between the government and the contractor, while a corporate tax of 10% has now been introduced. 2 miners from Region 7 have gone missing after a reported river mishap which took place last evening close to the Kuratuku village in the Upper Cayuni River area. The police have identified the 2 missing men as 44-year-old Kevin Musa of Pomeroon and the other man known only as Alvin. A police investigation has so far revealed that Kevin Musa and 6 of his co-workers, including Alvin, were consuming alcoholic beverages at Kuratuku village when they stopped a metal boat that was captained by Raul Jervis, requesting a drop to their mining camp located about 20 minutes from where they were. The metal boat was transporting 14 drums of diesel at the time and already had 2 other persons on board. The police statement indicated that about 10 minutes into the journey, the boat struck a rock, causing it to take in water. The occupants jumped overboard and swam to shore, but Kevin Musa and the other man known as Alvin remained on a rock in the middle of the Cayuni River. They were heard shouting for help, but eventually stopped. It is suspected that they drowned. A massive search by the joint services has been launched in the area. Let's tell you now that the government of Qatar has agreed to establish an embassy in Guyana, as Guyana and Qatar seek to deepen cooperation in a number of areas. The Emir of the State of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, paid a 1-day visit to Guyana on Tuesday and held meetings with President Irfan Ali and a number of high-level Guyana government officials. At the end of the meetings, the 2 sides signed an agreement underscoring the importance of promoting bilateral trade and investment, while noting the significant potential for collaboration in sectors such as agriculture, renewable energy, infrastructure development, and tourism. The 2 countries also intend to encourage business communities from both countries to explore opportunities for partnerships and investments. In an effort to enhance bilateral ties, Guyana and Qatar also signed an agreement to encourage and protect mutual investment between the 2 countries. An agreement was signed regarding economic, commercial, and technical cooperation between the government of the State of Qatar and the government of Guyana, as well as an MOU on legal cooperation. President Ali and the Qatar Emir also expressed their confidence in the prospects for enhanced cooperation between Qatar and Guyana and agreed to work together to further strengthen their bilateral relations. A communiqué which was released after the meetings said both leaders expressed confidence that the agreement signed will provide greater visibility to the relations between the 2 countries in building bridges of cooperation.
In its capacity as a supervising authority under the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act, the Guyana Revenue Authority presents to you this factoid. Money laundering. Money laundering is the processing of criminal proceeds to disguise or conceal their criminal origin. Simply put, it's the process by which criminals make dirty money obtained from their criminal activities look legitimate or clean.
Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Having your own car means peace of mind.
Having your own car means comfort and convenience.
Having your own car means freedom to get there on your own time.
It's Deal on Wheels at Republic Bank. It's time to get that new vehicle or upgrade to a better one with Republic. Super low rates and low down payment. Up to 8 years to repay and great prizes. Come in to Republic Bank today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The Ministry of Education today announced that salaries for certain categories of teachers are to be adjusted. The eligible teachers will receive a lump sum payment for the period 1st of September 2020 to 30th of September 2023 in October. The adjustments will reflect in their salaries moving forward. In a circular today, the Finance Secretary, Sakrishalal Pasha, said that the government has approved the adjustments for teachers who are paid below the minimum applicable scale to be brought up to the minimum of the scale of the current year. The adjustments, according to the Finance Secretary, will take effect from the 1st of October. The salary adjustments will pave the way for teachers to now be paid based on merit and years of service. As of 2016, teachers entering the system were paid similar to those who were in the system for years with the same qualification of the new entrants. The issue has been a headache for teachers who have been calling on the Education Ministry to resolve the issue. It is not clear if the Guyana Teachers Union was consulted on the adjustments, since it is one of the issues the union has continuously raised with the Education Ministry. On Monday, the Minister of Education, Priya Manik Chand, declared that the government will be engaging directly with the stakeholders in the education sector and that the Office of the President will be leading the consultations for salary increases and benefits. The Teachers Union has since accused the government of trying to sideline the union. The GTU has also called for an increase for all categories of teachers, and the President has expressed his intention to address the anomalies in the salaries for the nation's teachers. With Suriname's own Fly Always airline launching its scheduled service between Georgetown and Toronto, Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel has announced that the government of Guyana is continuing its efforts to get more airlines to join the Guyana skies with scheduled services. Fly Always will be operating twice weekly flights between Georgetown and Toronto via the Dominican Republic. The airline welcomed its first flight from Toronto on Tuesday with a ceremony at the Chedijagan International Airport. At the ceremony, Minister Edgel said he is pleased with the added airlift between Guyana and Canada. He explained that more travelers have been coming to Guyana, but many face the hurdle of finding an airline that fits to their convenience. He said the government is happy with the Fly Always decision and will continue to seek out other carriers. Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar, also welcomed the addition of the Fly Always service to the Guyana market, noting the need for more airlines to add the Guyana route to their schedule. And Tourism Minister Unej Waldron said the government and her ministry are both eyeing a number of destinations to encourage more visitors to come to Guyana. The Chief Executive Officer of Fly Always, Amit Chanjao, said his airline remains open to building partnerships with the countries it serves, and he looks forward to playing that role in the Guyana market. The airline will be operating an Airbus A320 aircraft with a seating capacity of 174. The 2023 Public Forum of the World Trade Organization opened in Geneva on Tuesday with former British Prime Minister and current United Nations Special Envoy for Global Education Gordon Brown highlighting the need for a global response to the many global problems facing the world, including climate change and pandemics. Delivering a presidential lecture before a packed audience, Mr. Brown noted that the world continues to change and mankind is no longer confronted by wars against each other, but have to now deal with threats against humankind.
Climate change, pandemics, financial contagion, and other problems can only be addressed by globally coordinated action involving all of us, bearing in mind that despite today's wars, the biggest threats are no longer between or among nations, but threats to humankind like climate change and pandemics as a whole. And they know no national boundaries. And so we need to engage all countries in the search for global responses to global problems. Without this, we cannot be sure that climate change can ever be properly addressed, pandemics ever effectively controlled, financial contagion ever averted, or global injustices properly addressed.
This year's WTO Public Forum is declaring that it is time for action, and the former British Prime Minister in his lecture called for greater action by more countries to address the challenges facing the world and international trade. He said there must also be global solutions for future possible threats that may face the international community, adding that attention must also be paid to those countries that would weaponize their resources to hurt the world economy. On the issue of global resources and demands, Mr. Brown said countries will be better protected under a multilateral umbrella.
Whatever the current advantage that can be gained from resource nationalism, DRC with cobalt, Chile with lithium, Indonesia with nickel, that windfall may be short-lived. As needs and demands change, additional countries find reserves, and just as the friend-shoring can quickly lose its advantages when friends, as they do, fall out, and it becomes foe-shoring, resource nationalism loses its advantages when the resources fall out of being in demand, reminding us yet again that we are better protected through an effective multilateral umbrella.
Brown said the case must be made to every country that there must be greater instances of global cooperation to allow greater institutions. He sees greater international cooperation as a way to deal with the many challenges facing the global community, calling on the International Monetary Fund to become an institution that does more for crisis prevention and crisis resolution, and for the World Bank to be marginalized, to focus on greater public good, with a focus on global climate change and global education and widespread support for efforts to resolve trade disputes. He also called for greater financing of the World Health Organization. Guyana has been paying attention to the issues of climate change, financing for vulnerable communities, agriculture, and food security at the WTO Public Forum.
Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyol's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey.
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yeah, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? You know, I just pay my bills using MMG, you know?
Yes, Jack. And the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait. I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Well, girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. shopping comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall. In the region, Guatemalan President-elect Bernardo Arevalo has temporarily suspended his participation in the government transition, according to Reuters. Reuters, in a report, said the announcement came after the top prosecutor's office in the Central American country raided facilities run by Guatemala's main electoral tribunal on Tuesday. Arevalo has called the prosecutor's office's investigation of his electoral victory last month part of a coup attempt and described Tuesday's raids as flagrant crimes of abuse of authority for electoral purposes that violated Guatemala's constitution. Arevalo said his participation in the transition would resume once the necessary institutional and political conditions are re-established. Earlier on Tuesday, the Organization of American States, OAS, said it was extremely concerned about the raids, which it said involved the opening of electoral packages and violated Guatemalan electoral law. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service was thrown into shock and mourning on Tuesday after a woman police constable killed a fellow policeman, then turned the gun on herself in an apparent murder-suicide at her house in Chaguanas. Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, in a report, said the dead officers were identified as WPC Josette Marshall and Corporal Dwight Skeet. According to the head of Homicide South, ASP Steve Passad, at around 2:25 p.m., police received a report of a homicide at the corner of Opal and Kestrel Boulevard. On arrival, police discovered 2 bodies on the first floor of the 2-story house. Officers believe that WPC Marshall, who worked at the Police Administration Building, Port of Spain, drew her personal 9mm firearm and fatally wounded CPL Skeet, who worked at the Court and Process Branch in Port of Spain. She then turned the gun on herself. Skeet's body was found in a bedroom while Marshall was found slumped in the corridor. Police said further investigations would determine the cause of their deaths. The deceased were said to be in a relationship and were involved in a domestic dispute at the time of the incident. And finally tonight, international news. More than 5,300 people are believed to have died after floods in the Libyan city of Derna, an official has said. The sea is constantly dumping dozens of bodies, a government minister was quoted as saying in a BBC report. According to that report, there have been desperate calls for more humanitarian support as victims lie wrapped in body bags and others have been buried in mass graves. A Tusami-like river floodwater swept through Derna on Sunday after a dam burst during Storm Daniel. Rescue teams are digging through the rubble of collapsed buildings in the hope of finding survivors, but hope is waning and the death toll is expected to rise further. Officials say at least 10,000 people are missing, while 30,000 people are estimated to have been displaced, the United Nations International Organization for Migration, IOM, in Libya said on Wednesday. Morgues and hospitals have been overwhelmed with bodies. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.